Hands up. Okay. Welcome to the Hop House Community AA meeting. Let's start with a moment of silence followed by the serenity prayer. God,
grant me serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
are there any newcomers? Any announcements?
Hold on, you got a newcomer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You want to stand up?
Stand up and tell your name, please.
Hey, Danny!
My name is June. How many of you?
Welcome home.
Any more newcomers?
Hannah.
Hi, I'm Hannah.
Hi, Hannah.
Hey, Hannah, welcome home.
Hi, I'm Stacy. Hi, Stacy.
Hey, welcome home.
Any more newcomers? Any announcements? Is there anyone opposed to vaping? No. Who you see here, what you hear here, let it stay here. Please keep profanity to a minimum for our spiritual principles. The donation basket is going to be passed around to keep up with our 7 traditions. Contribution will cover rent, utilities, and coffee. And before we begin, we want to remind everyone that this meeting is being streamed live. To honor the traditions of anonymity, the camera will only be focused on the podium. If you choose to share, you may stand at the podium on camera or to the side if you prefer to remain anonymous. Please remember to use only first names when introducing yourself. By participating in this meeting, you acknowledge that while we do our best to perfect anonymity, we cannot control who may be watching the live stream. If you are not comfortable with this, we completely understand. And we encourage you to share in a way that feels safe to you. Thank you for your understanding and for respecting the traditions that keep our fellowship strong. AA Freedom. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirements for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not aligned with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institutions. Does not wish to engage in any controversy. Neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help alcoholics to achieve sobriety. Now, I've asked someone to read high words.
Hello, everybody. I'm an addict alcoholic named Caleb.
Hey,
Caleb. Share clean date of 11/14/25. How it works. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who don't recover are people who cannot and will not completely give themselves to the simple program. Usually, men and women who are situationally capable of being honest with themselves. They are such important. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally capable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands righteousness and honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those too who suffer from the grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Our stories disclose in a general way that we used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now. If you have decided you want what we have to offer, or willing to go through the length or any length to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. At some of these we thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnest in our commands, we beg of you to be fearless and so very smart. Some of us have tried and hold on to our old ideas and the results until we let it go absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcoholics. Without the help, it is too much for us. But there is one who has all the power, and that one is God. May you find him out. Half measures availed us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked God to protect us. We asked for protection and care for us completely. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested in the program recovery. 1. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol in our lives, powerless over alcohol in our lives as human. 2. We believe in the power greater than ourselves to restore us to sanity. 3. Made a decision to turn our life and our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand. 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5. Committed to God and ourselves and another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6. Be entirely ready to have God remove all the defects in our character. 7. Humbly ask Him to remove all our shortcomings. 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9. Made recompense to such people wherever possible, except to do when would injure them or others. 10. Conduct a personal inventory and when we were wrong, promptly admit it. 11. Stop through prayer, meditation, through conscious contact with our God as we understand, praying only for knowledge and His will for us and the power to carry on. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry the message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our lives. Many of us exclaim that what an order. I can't go through that. Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not the same. The point is that we are willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principle we have set down to God and others. The claim spiritual progress spread in spiritual perfection. Our desperation of alcoholics and character and to capture the arrogant, agnostic in our personal adventures before and after declare the perfection ideals. Our invitation ideals. A, we are alcoholics to know cannot arrange our own lives. Oh, this is pretty sorry. Cannot manage our own lives. B, that probably no human power could have received our alcoholism. C, and
God created the way.
Thank you very much, my friend.
Yeah. And I have next, ask someone to read the 12 traditions.
Hey, I'm JP.
Hey,
JP.
Community, December date 3/17/25. Feeling really grateful to be sober today. These are the 12 traditions of Alcoholics Anonymous. 1, our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends upon AA unity. 2, for our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God, as he may express himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants, they do not govern. 3, the only requirement for AA membership is a desire to stop drinking. 4, each group should be autonomous, except in matters affecting other groups or AA as a whole. 5, each group has but one primary purpose, to carry its message to the alcoholic who still suffers. 6, an AA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the AA name to any related facility or outside enterprise, lest problems of money, property, and prestige divert us from our primary purpose. 7, every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. 8, Alcoholics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. 9, AA as such ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible for those they serve. 10, Alcoholics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues, hence the AA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. 11, our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. 12, anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities.
Thank you, JP. Hello, Hopper House. Tonight is birthday night, and we have a couple of people that their birthdays is tonight. We have a gentleman tonight. He has 3 years. I wanted to tell his story. Jake, can you please come on here, please?
My name is Jake Cox. I have a sober date of 11/11/22. I'm an addict and all kinds of other things I'm not even going to talk about right now. To keep this short, I'm just going to start from the time I got sober. My drug addiction wasn't very long, but when it did take place, it was hard. Between selling drugs and doing drugs. About 4 years ago, Chris Hopper, we've been in contact while I was in prison. As most of y'all know, me and Chris grew up together since we were very, very young. We ran the streets together. When I committed my crime, Chris was supposed to be with me, but between him and his mama down there saying no, he didn't go with me. I went on with it with another friend of ours. We did what we did. I have a brutality case. But anyways, fast forward, because that plays a part in my sobriety. About 4 years ago, Chris started reaching out to me and telling me about, God, and which I already believed in God. I just didn't have the faith that I have now. So he just started instilling stuff into me, man, trying to get me to get my head right and my head out of my butt and stuff like that. I was caught up in a lot of things in prison, doing what I wasn't supposed to be doing and stuff like that. And he just kept reaching out to me. He didn't give up on me. He kept praying for me at the end. As I said the other day in a meeting here, at the end of every message that he sent me, an e-message, he would say a prayer for me every time. It didn't matter if the message was 2 sentences long or it was 2 pages long. He would say a prayer for me. And I didn't want that to go in vain. So 3 years ago, I started making some changes in my life. And I was in prison. I was on close custody. I got caught with a cell phone. And I'd been clean for 6 months. And then I got a hold of some methamphetamine, started getting high here and there. And I was liking it. I was in prison, to take away the pain and everything. And then one night, I had another phone, and I got told on, and we almost got caught with a phone and some dope. By God's grace, it didn't happen. I don't know how it didn't happen. They just didn't look in the right spot. And there's not a lot of those places to look in the cell when you're in prison, but they didn't find it. No, it wasn't on me. It was in the cell. When we got through getting shook down, I almost got caught with the dope because I had it on me, had it in my mouth. And when we got back in the house, I had some dope left, and I dumped it off in a little container with some Gatorade. And it was a lot of dope. It was a half a gram that's locked in prison. I drank half, gave my cellie half. As soon as it hit me, I felt like scum, like the bottom of the barrel, like bad. And I just got down on my knees right there. My cellie was tripping on me because here I am praying and we're both high. I just got down on my knees and I was like, God, will you please take away this desire and this urge to get high? I don't want it anymore. When I tell y'all this, I'm not exaggerating. Like that, I was sober. I wasn't high no more. I ate and I went to bed. That was on the 21st, or the 20th, something like that. I forgot how long I slept after that. But anyways, from that day forward, I started changing some things. I started accepting responsibility. Something I said to Chris the other day. Excuse me, I'm nervous. They just put me on the spot to do this. So people live with me. They know I like to joke and crack jokes, and I'll make time fly. But I said something to him the other day. He asked me a question about, like more or less, like when's enough? Like when did you start to change? And I said, my first time in prison. Anytime anybody asks me what you're in prison for, because everybody's been in prison, I'm gonna ask you. I would tell them because I got snitched on by one of my good friends that I grew up with. That's why I'm in prison. I got snitched on. And that went on for years. While you're in prison, I got snitched on. And that followed me all through my time in prison when I got out and everything. But this time, 3 years ago, when I started to change, I started to realize that I wasn't in prison because I got snitched on. I was in prison because I committed a crime and I tried to take somebody's life. And I just started asking God for help to take away the hate that I had, the racial hatred that I had, the hatred towards human beings, the violence and everything else. And just, I was sincere about it. And just like that, it started happening. And I asked him about the drugs. I asked him to take away the urgent desire to get high. He took it away. And from that day, I have never had the urgent desire to get high again. Now, I didn't ask him to take away the urgent desire to sell drugs because that's what I did in the streets. That's what I did in prison. And I had a reputation. You're going to give me my money or something bad's going to happen to you. I didn't ask that because that's all I knew. That's how I survived. Because my brother was in the federal penitentiary. My sister was in the federal penitentiary. I lost my mom and dad while on a violation in prison. So that's how I made money. Well, Chris he wouldn't give up to me. I'm hard-headed and I would try to hear what he was saying. And finally I was like, God, the only way that I'm going to stay out of prison is if I change my whole mindset. That being selling drugs, doing drugs, the hatred that I have, the attitude, the blaming other people, the not accepting responsibility, not being held accountable for my actions. And I seen Chris was doing that. Even from a distance, he was doing that. Because he knows how I was back then, that I'm a salesman. I can sell you anything. And he wasn't trying to hear it. He could see through whatever I was saying and doing. And he just held on, man. And when I came up for parole, I came off close custody and all that stuff. I came up for parole. And he's like, look, if you want to come here, the doors are open. And I could have went back to Odessa where I'm from, but I might as well just stay in prison if that's the case. So I made the Hopper House with Chris and Brandy my first priority, not my last priority, as Chris might have thought. Chris tested me before I got out. He talked shit. He talked trash to me. He pissed me off. The day he picked me up at the bus station right here with his mohawk, white tips, and all fancy. And like, I never seen him like that. Last time I seen him was in 2011 when I sold him drugs. Then he OD'd. But not because the drugs were bad. That happened later. But he said, "Look, these are the rules, and this is what it is." I said, "Well, hold on before we get there. Them last couple of messages you sent me pissed me off, Chris. And you know me, I don't let nobody talk crazy to me. Nobody." He said, "Well, you fix to start learning how to." And he just ran it down to me, and he said, "Man, how long are you going to be here?" And I said, "And I don't know." He said, "How long are you going to be here?" I said, "Chris, I'm not going to lie to myself, and I'm sure not going to lie to you, brother. I'm not going to do it." I said, "But I can tell you I'm going to try every day. Every day, I'm going to try to do better." And that's what I've been doing. I enjoy it here. I love it here. After going to prison at a young age and spending all my teenage years in prison, I thought getting out the first time, which I never did drugs at that point, I thought that was the best years of my life when I got out of prison. I just got out. You know what I mean? Like, I got stuff to do. But I've never been happier than I am now. I have peace, like just peace from God, peace from being free, peace from the people in my life, my family. My sister wrote parole for me. I don't know what it was. After I caught that cell phone case, she wrote a letter for me telling parole that she sees the change in her brother. I don't see how that is. I got caught with a cell phone. But she seen the change in me. She had never written a letter for me before. She wrote parole and told him I see the change in my brother. So that showed me something right there. I just want to tell y'all, man, that there's a lot more to my story, a lot of crazy things. I'm not just saying this because I'm brown nosing, because I don't do that. But I look up to Chris because he's come a long way. He's come a long way from us running the streets of West Odessa, jumping on people, beating people up, doing this, doing that, stealing, whatever we were doing, teenagers. And he's come a long way from us getting high together 13, 14 years ago. And I like what he's got. I don't like the motorcycle he's got because I'm not big on Hondas. I like Harley Davidson, but I did take a picture on it just because that's my boy. But I like what he's doing. I like what he's got going on. And I did tell Ryan, I think it was yesterday, when he was bringing me back from anger management. I said, man, I ain't told Chris this. I said, Chris probably don't know me day to day whether I'm going to call him and tell him I'm here or call him and tell him I'm back in Odessa. But I'm at least going to be here 6 months. I'm going to give it that, at least. It's not because I'm going back to Odessa. I'm actually going to get a place here in San Angelo. This is where I want to be at. I've got some distant family that lives in Cristobal, which 20 miles south of here, I believe it is, or where it's somewhere around here. But bottom line is, man, I know y'all hear, everybody hears, if I can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, I'm not even going to go that route right there. I just know that if you sincerely and have faith and believe in God, I'm not even going to say anything else you believe in because there's no other way. You can do it. You can do it 1 month, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. And I've had no desire to get high, like at all, none whatsoever. People can look at my Facebook. My sister made that Facebook. For me, I don't even mess with Facebook. That's the way to go to jail, get caught up. I don't have nobody from my past on my Facebook, like nobody. No homeboys, no bros, none of that. Because something I learned in the last 3 years, 4 years is people, places, and things what you have to change. Period. Bottom line. You have to. You may not like it, but you have to change people, places, and things. Because if not, it's just going to be the same old rotation over and over. But that's the short end of my story. Chris has been a blessing to me. I know he hears it all the time. Like I said, my brown nose because I've known him all my life. I've known his mama. Chris has been a blessing, man. And I know that if you want it, just like he told me the other day, I'm going to continue. I was down there working in those apartments they just moved in. And he said, Jake, if you continue to show me that you want it, I'm going to continue to help you get it. And that goes for everybody. He's just not doing that because we go way back. That's for everybody. I hope that everybody in this room wants it. That's my hope. That's saying something for me because back in the day, I really didn't like a lot of people, but they didn't like me, one of the two. But I just believe God's changed me. I believe that He's maybe a better person. And I just ask everybody to continue to keep me sober and take away any urgent desire that I have, regardless of the fact.
Awesome. Thank you, Jake.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we have a young lady, Miss Brandy. Can you come over here for a second?
This is for a special friend of mine, a sister that was a part of this community for the first, I don't know, how long was it out? Were you out before? She has, it doesn't really matter, for a while. She has put in the work. She continues to put in the work, and she's here picking up for 5 years.
Whoa, whoa.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah!
Oh,
So, hello, my name is Jessica, and
Hey, Jessica.
I'm a grateful recovering addict. I came home November 22nd of 22, and 22. Tomorrow will be 3 years home. I spent 2 miserable months before I made a meeting, or about a month before I made a meeting. And I actually had a friend here at the Hopper House that I contacted, and this is the first place I came to. After I started coming, the first meeting I came to, Chris told me I couldn't come because it was a bunch of guys. So I think I actually ended up staying, and they took me home afterwards anyway. But Miss Brandy, my friend, he told me he got a hold of Miss Brandy, and Miss Brandy started coming and picking me up and brought me to these meetings faithfully. And then, like I said, I was miserable out there. I was in Grape Creek, and I couldn't get a job. I couldn't get into town. She told me, "Why don't you go to sober living?" I didn't want that. I wanted to be on my own. I was like, I can do this. I was doing it, but I wasn't doing it very well. I was sober, but I was miserable. So once I got into sober living, she blessed me with a job, and then things just started going up from there. I was at the Momentous House. I had my job with Brandy, and I would walk to work because I didn't want to pay for them rides. But in doing so, I walked to work for probably about a year, and I got my first little truck. Yes, a little Ford Ranger, and that little truck got me everywhere I wanted to go. It was awesome. But it within doing that, like, it got me to my meetings. It got me to my kids. That's another thing that working this program did for me. Within 2 weeks of being at the Momentous home, my oldest contacted me, and I had not spoke to her since she was 8 years old. She's fixing to be 24, or she is 24 now. She's fixing to turn 26, and she told me, "I want to come talk to you." And mind you, she has 3 beautiful grandbabies of mine that I had not even met. Within meeting her, within 2 months after visiting with her several times, I got to meet my grandchildren. The best part about that is just recently, my little Nana, she bothered her mom until she got to come stay the night with me and Papa, and she wore us out. To the park 3 or 4 times in one day. That girl, Oh my gosh. I was like, how many coffees have I had today? but it was worth it. It was worth it to see the smile on that little girl's face. Not only to mention that, like, you know, the hard work within the recovery, like it pays off in everything else as well. Like my jobs have been good. You know, I came out thinking, oh, I'm not going to do anything good. I just keep moving up in what I'm doing. I've had some setbacks, but in the long run, I'm doing what I want to do, and the Lord keeps blessing me with side jobs that I just keep providing like more and more resources for me to expand myself. Not only that, I get to go back to college starting in January. And that is like one of the biggest accomplishments that I think I'm going to have, because I'm going back to school to be an LCDC. And to come from the streets where I'm, you know, just like the gentleman was talking about, running and gunning, selling, doing whatever I had to do to where I'm standing at, where I'm at today, working a 9 to 5. I have a place that I call my own. I have my first brand new car that I've ever had.
Brandon.
You know, things that I never thought in my life that I would be able to accomplish just keep happening. And it's because I keep putting my foot forward and coming to these rooms and talking about what's going on in my life. Every time I have a struggle, I've got 5 people behind me going, come on, I've got you. And that's the best part about being in these rooms. There's always somebody, if not 5 people behind me going, I've got you. Like, I don't have to go through it alone. I've got a whole support system that's going to be right there with me. And I used to know everybody in this room. Like, it's been so long since I've been here. I wish I knew everybody by name. There's a few faces that I know. Y'all just keep coming back.
Okay. Y'all good? Everybody good? Y'all happy?
Yeah.
God is with everybody? Good, great. Mr. Carey,
Yes.
please come up here.
Sure will.
Now, the gentleman, Carey, gonna announce somebody we all love. Somebody that helped all of us out. Carey.
My name's Kerry. I am an addict, alcoholic. It's my great honor and privilege to introduce Chris. But I would like to say a few things first. Jake, you're right. Chris loves us enough to have difficult conversations. I have been on the receiving end of many difficult conversations. But I have also, mind you, been on the receiving end of praise beyond measure from a man who loves deeply, feels deeply, and corrects deeply. The man will cut you like a knife, but then he'll also build you up. He'll direct you and correct you. And Chris has taught me something. It's because usually I would let things ride with people because my boundaries weren't adequate or sufficient. But I've learned that through difficult conversations, we can have healthy relationships. Chris is my dearest friend. Chris has helped me build a career. Chris has helped me build fiscal responsibility. Chris has helped me learn the how to invest my money, my time. He convinced me to go to seminary. He convinced me to go to jail ministry. I mean, I'm not qualified for that. He said, I know you're not. You don't read your Bible enough. Come on, let's go. So he's right. Well, I do read it 1 extra hour a week. Every Sunday. 1 extra hour over what I already do. It's my great honor to introduce Chris. I didn't get it.
can go chill. Yeah, y'all. How's everybody doing tonight? Wait a minute. How's everybody doing tonight? There you go. Can we act like we want to be here, like it's success? I mean, it is a great honor to be here today. I know where I used to be, and I'm hearing people talk about where I used to be. You see, that is so far in the rearview mirror, I can hardly see that man anymore. But I'm going to tell you something that sponsors told me. I am Chris. I am an alcoholic, 11-19-12. First thing my sponsor said was, when you're at this podium, you don't cuss, and you take that hat off. And so I'm going to respect this altar or this podium or whatever you want to call it, because I am here because I learned how to respect the program. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to show you why. In 2012, a sponsor came to me. And he said, you're pretty angry, ain't you? And I said, yeah, how did you know? He said, because everything about you says how angry you are. He said, but there's a couple things I want you to do. I want you to write me 150 sentences. I don't know. Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. I don't know. Wait a minute, man. I don't know. And 150 do the next right thing. And he looked at me in my miserable state with black eyes and busted knuckles. And he said, have it done by tomorrow. And then he walked off. Every ounce of me said, man, I'm fixing to tear this dude alive. And you know what? I didn't do that. Because I made a decision to turn my will of my life over to God. I want to let you listen to a couple minutes of this.
Wow.
Okay. Oh, not that one.
Chris.
I think it's pretty funny that a person can think that they got it going on and then it all goes down the drain. But it didn't go down the drain, though. It's not the fact that it went down the drain, it's the fact that I know it's the same. It's the same as one last time, and it'll be the same time next time, Trump again. I don't know, I ain't hear nothing. I just come here today because I need positive influences. I need a place with good feelings when I come into it. Because I've surrounded myself with bad feelings all my whole life, so I'm more used to feeling bad than I am good. I don't want to feel good, or I do, but in the end, I don't, So I cut my throat, so I cut my face, so I burn myself 8 times, so, because I don't want to feel good, but I want to feel good, but every day is a struggle. And this time I got for 6 days this time, and the whole time, this whole God shit, evidently he didn't want me to be back in prison, because I was doing plenty of shit to do it. But the whole time he kept looking out for me, though. I don't even know why, I get to this one point, and then something say, don't do that. Okay? I wouldn't do it. Didn't matter how drunk or, because I'm not, I'm an alcoholic. Drinking was the last thing I done. I started out with bad shit. I just went from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. Because I've been missing it. I ain't been having it. So I had to play with it up. That way when I go home and I go to bed, and I know I did it right. I didn't just go get a little bit of this. I didn't just go get a little bit of that. I did it all. That's what I did.
I wanted to play that for you
13 years ago.
so that I could show you that I'm just like you. I don't have to go back and reminisce about where I was at, what it was like. There's something that the sponsors have us do when we get here, and it's write it down. Write down your feelings. Write down where you're at today. You know why? Because you're going to go back and you're going to look at it later and you're going to think, man, I've come so far from that. That's only a little bit that I'll let you hear. It gets real bad, real dirty, real quick. Because that's just me. That's who I was. You see, I was a mental defect. And I had struggled in my whole life not knowing how to handle who I was. I didn't know how to be anything other than what I was. Jake told you that we grew up in dysfunction. If you had it, we didn't have it, we stole it from you. Because that's all we knew. We didn't have money. We didn't have families that could buy us stuff. We were molested as kids. We were beat up as kids. I mean, all those things that happened to us as kids that made us who we were. And the whole time, all we're thinking about is, I just don't want to be like them. We're not going to be like them. We're going to be our own them. The problem is we knew not how to be. We only knew how to be not them. But we didn't have a better way to look at it. So I'm going to tell you, I came to Alcoholics Anonymous by accident. Let me read this to you, because this is the doctor's opinion. Here's what Dr. Silcourt said. He said, I've specialized in the treatment of alcoholism for many years. In late 1934, I attended a patient who had been a competent businessman of good earning capacity, was an alcoholic of a type I had come to regard as hopeless. In the course of his third treatment, he acquired some certain ideas concerning a possible means of recovery. As part of his rehabilitation, he commenced to present his conception to other alcoholics, impressing upon them that they must do likewise with still others. This has become the basis of a rapidly growing fellowship of these men and their families. This man and over 100 have recovered from alcoholism. This man, this woman have recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. That was a hopeless man at 6'12". I recorded that because I knew, God talked to me back then, back when he was giving me colors to read people's spirits. You see, we come from the hood and penitentiary, and God's already in us, so he's already given us the spirit of discernment. We just don't know how to use it. We won't stay here long enough to get the fruits that God gives us. Our purpose can't be found because we stay so distracted by where I'm going to go after here, instead of focusing on why I'm here to begin with. It's not because I'm not an alcoholic. It's because I'm an alcoholic. I use anything alcoholically. Once I started, I can't stop it. And I can't stop starting. It doesn't matter what it is. In 1934, it was the only word they knew was alcoholism. You suffer from an incurable disease. People don't get cured from this disease. The doctor said you have a hopeless state of mind and body. You're not going to change. And then Bill and Bob got together and started understanding some things about their life. You see, when you get to this program, I don't need somebody to pat me on the back and tell me how good a job I'm doing all the time, man. That got me right where I was. I need someone who's not scared to tell me that you are no longer that person, and I will not allow you to live like that. Chris Hopper, you're a miserable person, but you're going to write these sentences for me. I don't care if you beat me up or not. Because that's what it's going to take for you to become the next phase of your development that God has in store for you. Your purpose is so small right now, but it's going to get so much bigger later. Are you willing to let it go? I want to focus on what it's like now, not what happened. Because what happened was CPS. CPS got involved in my life and changed my perspective on everything. Once CPS got involved, they introduced me to AA. I never knew AA. And the times that I went to AA, I was rolling a pipe in the parking lot. And I had a fifth of whiskey in the glove box whenever I got done. That way I could go right out to there, because I didn't believe in this magic AA meeting stuff. It didn't make sense to me right then. I was only doing it because they mandated me to go to it. It didn't matter to me. I wasn't there to learn anything. I was only there because the court said I had to be there. It took another trip to the penitentiary, which I should have got the habitual this time, but God graced me out. But for God graced me one more time. And I don't know why, because I stayed in SEG all but 3 months of that 16-month sentence. at a Sanchez State Jail, which should tell you that I was not doing right in there either. Even though God graced me, I still wasn't doing right. And yeah, Jake said it. I did some outside issues, and guess what happened? I overdosed, ended up in the hospital with my throat swell closed. Infection course in my brain after doing many bad things to people. In 5 months, I shouldn't be here today. That's countless other things that we all have the same story. It's just different circumstances. I'm not special just because I got a story. We all have a story, and God wants to use it. Just like he's using me. Look around you. If God can use me, he can use any one of us. I'm living proof that God can use the most broken and turn everything that they're doing around and make something new. I still got 2 tablets full of writings. I would get so mad in Turning Point while I was in there. The counselor would say, go draw me a picture of it. I got a Mr. T washing machine eating somebody because he got out of line. He got out of line while we were washing clothes, took my spot. But I didn't beat that man up. I vented through paper, man. I let it out. I'm learning some new things in recovery, you see. I knew that it was time to do something different. I just wasn't sure how to do it. So I want to read from you. There's a solution. We know thousands of men and women who were once just as hopeless as Chris. Nearly all have recovered. They have solved the drink or addiction problem. The tremendous fact for every one of us is that we have discovered a common solution. We have a way out on which we can absolutely agree and upon which we can join in brotherly, sisterly, harmonious action. There is the great news about this book carries to those who suffer from alcoholism. An illness of this sort, and we have come to believe it, an illness, involves those about us in a way no other human sickness can. Alcoholism will take everything in your life away. And you could turn that around and say anger will take everything valuable in your life away. Depression will take everything valuable in your life away. Any addiction that's unhealthily sought after will take everything worth value in your life away. It starts with your family. Usually when an alcoholic drinks and drives and they wreck their car, it's not usually them they kill. It's usually the family beside them or the people in the car. And then they get to live with that misery their whole life. I have a bunch of that. So I want to tell you after I got here to San Angelo, much like you guys, because I want to relate to you. You heard my misery. You heard that what happened about CPS and how I got involved in AA. Now let me tell you what happened after that. I come to San Angelo with a brand new mind. No clothes, no hope, nowhere to go. No job, no money. Middle of winter. No kids, no custody, no rights. I was hopeless. I walked up and down that street on Coburn Street asking myself many times, why are you here and what are you doing this for? But that small, still voice just kept on saying, keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. That walking to 4 meetings a day, because that's what I did. So when I tell you to walk, it's not because I didn't do it. I lived in a sober house. I don't have family. My family barely can make it, dude. I ain't get no pass me down money here. I ain't even get extra draws that somebody had extra. If we wanted something, we had to go burglarize it. I'd take it from you. My grandma was so happy one time she bought me the new Reebok pumps when they come out. And she bought them from Finger Hut. On a 3-year payment plan. You know what I'm saying? I wore them Reebok pumps. I wore them things out shooting that basketball. But I had those shoes for 4 years because my family couldn't afford clothes. So I'm not here for a sympathy, man. I'm here to tell you, man, I grew up on the same King vitamin that you did. I didn't have nobody the same grapefruit in a can that you bust open with a can opener. I drank that same ish. Okay? I grew up knocking cockroaches off of my pizza just like you did. You turn the lights on in the middle of the night and you get scared there's somebody close. That's the house I grew up in. You know why Chris Hopper says you can't have no dishes in your sink? Because I grew up with it. And if you go to my house this minute, there won't be one dish in my sink. And you'll struggle to find scraps because my wife's a vacuum mugby. I'm going to tell you all this. It worked out just like this. So we'll have enough time for everybody. My story will come someday. You'll get to hear the whole thing. After about 4 months of walking to every meeting, somebody come to that sober living house and gave me the white knight. Give me a mountain bike. I rode that mountain bike everywhere. My first job, even though I'm a tool pusher on a drilling rig, I drilled for many years. When I got here, I waved the sign for Liberty Tax, $7 an hour, 4 hours a day.
And y'all can only imagine.
Yeah, that sign did not stay still. I promise you.
Masks on.
And my mask's on. You know why? Because us alcoholics, we're going to be the best at everything we do. That's even kill ourselves. We're going to do it 100%. When I give up, I'm giving all the way up. I ain't giving a little bit up. I'm giving all the way up. If I use, it ain't going to be in this facility. I'm going to go out there and kill myself, man. I'm not going to risk everybody else's life. Man, I got other people to go kill. Not these people in this facility. I didn't never use in my house because I knew that was the only safe place that I had. I'll tell you, fast forward later, 9 months, I graduated out of the halfway house. Got my own trailer house. It was a hood rat trailer house, $1,500, but it was mine. It had plastic in every room and extension cords for the wire, but it was mine. 3 months after having that trailer house, CPS called me. I ain't got no job still. It's very shaky. Ain't got no car, but I got a home. You see my hustle from Odessa, I brought it here. And I was working on mobile homes in the trailer park. And I was the pimp in that trailer park. So that means that all the work that needed to be done there, I did it. He gave me the house. CPS calls and says, hey, man, you ain't have no rights to your kids in 3 years. Would you like to see them? Yeah! 6 months later, I had custody of my kids. I went into court with a mohawk, freshly painted fingernails, and a cocky attitude. And the judge said, I ain't trying to keep no kids away from a dad who's worked that hard for them. And I walked out of the courtroom with my kids. 6 months later, I had my driver's license back. They said I'd never have a CDL. 2 months later, I got it. They said I'd never have a tanker endorsement on my CDL license. 2 months later, I got it. I'm only using 2-month increments just to give you a chronological order. After that, I continued to grow. They said, you'll never be able to find a job with those tattoos on your face, how you look in your record. 34 job interviews later. I want you to listen to that. When I say, how many have you got tonight? And you're ready to give up? Because it took 34 for me to finally sit in that parking lot and say, God, I'm tired of this. I've done everything that you've asked me to do. I'm sitting at the end of my level right now, man, and this is my last interview. God, I'm not doing it no more. If they deny me, I'm going back to Odessa and I'm getting back on the rigs and I'm going to start this thing over again. Unfortunately, I walked in there and the man looked at me and he said, you don't scare me. He said, if I give you the job, will you do the job? And I said, yeah, I'll be here when you're gone. He hired me that day and I was there when that man was gone. I stayed at that company for 4 years. I hauled oil for 4 years for that company and then 6 years for the next company. I worked 10 years hauling oil. Something that they said that you'd never be able to do. From changing my life, making $7 an hour, to bringing home over $110,000 a year. From a broke down alcoholic, drug addict with a criminal record with no rights to his kids. Shot 3 times, stabbed twice, in prison 4 times, and countless other things. If I can do it, you can do it. I don't have to tell you what's happened since 2020, because after 2020, my wife and I, we took some of that money that I'd just been stashing away, because I teach you about saving money and how to put your money up and be accountable for things today. After me and my wife took a look at our bank account one day and we had over 40, 50 something $1,000s in there, I finally realized it's time to do something with our money. It's time to start giving back. My wife and I took all of our money and we invested into you, because we believe in what we're doing and we believe in what God's doing. God is doing a mighty work, man. Imagine what all we can do. Imagine how much of the world we can save, man, if only one of me. There's no telling. My brother Glenn told me the other day, he said, Chris, there's no telling how many lives you've changed. Now imagine if this whole room full of people had the same mindset that my wife and I had. How many lives did we change? We could make this world a different place. But here's the truth. The truth is that we come in and we spend so much time thinking about what we're going to do when we leave that we don't give our all to right now. Give your all to right now, man. Make a priority list in your life. These are the things I want to achieve, not a time frame. Remember, this is Kairos time. This is God's time. It's not your time. You've had your time to shine. It didn't work. You didn't shine. Now you're here and you're already planning your escape. This is a wrong thing to do in this place. Do not plan your escape. You've been planning your escape your whole life, and it's got you right here, right now. I stopped planning my escape. Today, I'm right in the middle of what God's doing in your life, not mine.
That's right.
I know what God's doing in my life. I'm not worried about that anymore. Now I want to help you find what God's doing in yours. It's an amazing journey. Let me read something else. I'm going to go over here to working with others. Because this is my tool right here. This is how I live my life. I live my life according to these tools. Yes, I serve a mighty God. This book is not about my God. This book teaches me how to get to know and understand that there is a God. There is a power greater than me. That's what this book's for. This is not to teach you about your God. You learn that there is a God from this book. That's where I learned my God at. Now I go to other sources to find out what my God can do. This is what my God wants me to do. And through his word, I find out what he can do. If I only give him reign and control over my life. Practical experience shows us that nothing will so much ensure immunity from drinking as intensive work with other alcoholics. It works when other activities fail. This is our 12th suggestion. Carry this message to other alcoholics. You can help when no one else can. You can secure their confidence when others fail. Remember, they're very ill. Life will take on new meaning. To watch people recover, to see them help others, to watch loneliness vanish, to see a fellowship grow about you, to have a host of friends. This is an experience you must not want to miss. We know you will not want to miss it. Frequent contact with newcomers and with each other is the bright spot of our lives. I tell you this morning, 13 years in recovery. This morning I woke up and at 8 o'clock this morning I was at CRTC preaching the message. After I left there at 9:30 in the morning, I drove 2 hours to Snyder, Texas to go into the prison unit. to speak the message to G4 close custody. Then from G4 close custody and the general population to speak the good news to general population. Then drive 2.5 hours back replying to calls, messages, concerns about people wanting to come in to get the help that we can offer. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for you to lay your life down and pick up the life that I've chose to find. Chris, I'm an alcoholic,
My birthday, baby.
My name is Jacob. For birthday night, we do like to celebrate various things of sobriety. We are going to start off with the 12 months.
Okay, Dixie. Step back. Step back. Step back.